Welcome to a review of successful nurse leadership, inspiring people, leading change, building a strong future. Healthcare complexity requires nurse leaders to balance workforce needs, technology, quality and safety, financial pressures, and continuous change. Successful leadership extends beyond clinical and operation expertise. It requires the ability to inspire people, build relationships, develop others, and lead meaningful change. This presentation explores how transformational leadership, supported by practical tools such as emotional intelligence, communication, delegation, shared governance, evidence-based decision-making, and time management, can strengthen nurse leadership. It also reflects my evolving leadership journey from focusing on personal productivity to developing people, building leadership capacity, and creating sustainable organizational impact. Why nurse leadership matters. Distinguishing nurse leadership from general leadership is vital because nursing leadership focuses specifically on direct patient care, clinical safety, and bedside advocacy rather than the broad business and corporate operations. While general leadership applies to any business or team, nurse leadership addresses the unique, high-stress, and clinical realities of healthcare. Developing nurses who can operate confidently across clinical and managerial domains means structured exposure to system-level decision-making. Today's nurse leaders face the challenge of managing immediate operational demands while also protecting the long-term sustainability of nursing workforce. Workforce concerns include staffing shortages, burnout, turnover, rising patient acuity, and leaders' well-being. At the same time, leaders must guide staff through rapidly changing technology, including artificial intelligence, electronic systems, workflow changes, and the ethical concerns and stress that may accompany them. Nurse leaders must also balance quality, patient safety, financial responsibility, regulatory requirements, and other competing organizational priorities. While addressing these current pressures, they cannot lose sight of the future. Succession planning, preceptor development, professional growth, and the preparation of emerging leaders are essential to building a strong and sustainable nursing workforce. Successfully navigating these interconnected challenges requires leaders who are adaptable, forward-thinking, and committed to developing both people and systems. Transformational leadership is especially well suited for nursing because it reflects the relational foundation of our profession. Nursing leadership is not simply about managing tasks or meeting operational expectations. It's about advocating for others, supporting collaboration, adapting to change, and helping people grow. Research has associated transformational leadership with improved quality of patient care, stronger organizational commitment, and a better fit between employees and the organization. By building trust, communicating a shared vision, and encouraging professional development, transformational nurse leaders create environments where staff feel valued and empowered. Ultimately, this approach moves leadership beyond task completion. It allows nurse leaders to develop people, strengthen the workplace culture, and create meaningful opportunities for nurses to contribute to organizational success and improved patient outcomes. Transformational leadership is especially well suited to nursing because nursing is built on relationships, trust, advocacy, and collaboration. Research associates this leadership approach with improved quality of care, patient care, stronger organizational commitment, and a greater sense of connection between nurses and their organization. Transformational nurse leaders move beyond managing daily tasks. They create environments where staff feel valued, supported, and encouraged to contribute ideas. By recognizing individual strengths, promoting professional development, and helping employees adapt to change, these leaders support both personal growth and organizational success. Ultimately, transformational leadership reflects the heart of nursing, developing people, strengthening teams, and inspiring others to work together towards the shared goal of delivering safe, high-quality patient care. This slide highlights several practical tools and best practices that help nurse leaders translate transformational leadership into everyday practice. Emotional intelligence allows leaders to recognize and manage their own emotions while remaining aware of how others may be feeling. This is especially important when responding to stress, conflict, or organizational change. Clear communication also enhances safety. Nurse leaders must establish expectations, listen actively, encourage questions, and create an environment in which employees feel psychologically safe speaking up about concerns. Shared governance supports frontline nurses by giving them a meaningful voice in decisions that affect patient care and nursing practice. Delegation is equally important because it is not simply assigning tasks. It involves transferring appropriate responsibility, building confidence, and developing future leaders. Effective time management requires leaders to protect time for strategic priorities and recognizing which responsibilities truly require their direct involvement. Finally, evidence-based decision-making ensures that changes are guided by current research, organizational data, staff feedback, and measurable outcomes. Together, these practices help nurse leaders build trust, empower their teams, improve safety, and create sustainable organizational change. Emotional intelligence and leading change. Through my own leadership journey, I have become more aware of how my emotions, communication style, and responses can influence others, particularly during periods of change and stress. I have learned that employees may need different things throughout the change process. Some need additional information, others need reassurance or support, and sometimes people simply need an opportunity to feel heard. Even when a proposed solution is strong, employees may not automatically understand or support it. Leaders must clearly communicate why the change is needed, how it will affect the team, and how it connects to the organization's goals. By combining emotional intelligence with transformational leadership, I can remain focused on the broader vision while also recognizing and responding to the experiences of the people who make that vision a reality. How my leadership journey has evolved through 3 key stages. My bedside nursing experience gave me a strong clinical foundation and taught me how to prioritize, adapt quickly, and respond effectively in complex situations. Moving into education and professional development enabled me to support others' growth, strengthen academic partnerships, and recognize the importance of developing future nurses and leaders. Today, my work increasingly involves system-level leadership, requiring strategic thinking, an understanding of organizational impact, and a broader executive perspective. Each stage has shaped how I lead and has prepared me to influence not only individual practice, but also the systems and environments in which nurses provide care. Earlier in my career, I reviewed productivity as how much I could personally accomplish. I focused on being dependable, solving problems quickly, and managing the details myself. While these qualities helped me succeed, my perspective has evolved as I have moved into broader leadership roles. An executive leadership mindset requires me to ask a different question. What truly requires my involvement, and what could become an opportunity to develop someone else? Effective leadership is not measured by completing every task personally. It involves protecting time for strategic priorities, delegating with purpose, and empowering others to take ownership. This shift allows leaders to expand their impact while building confidence, and leadership capacity within the team. My goal is no longer simply to accomplish more myself, but to create an environment where others are prepared and supported to contribute, grow, and lead. Moving forward, I will apply these leadership lessons by becoming more intentional about how I use my time, support others, and make decisions. First, I will set aside time for strategic work and organizational priorities rather than allowing daily operational demands to consume all of my attention. I will also delegate more purposefully, not simply to reduce my workload, but to give others meaningful opportunities to take ownership, develop confidence, and strengthen their leadership abilities. During difficult situations, I will pause and respond thoughtfully, using emotional intelligence to consider how my communication and actions affect others. I also want to remain connected to the nurses, employees, and patients who are affected by leadership decisions. Ultimately, my goal is to develop future nurses and leaders while helping create sustainable systems that support both an engaged workforce and excellent patient care. Leadership success is no longer defined by how much I can personally accomplish. Instead, I measure success by the people I develop, the trust I build, and the systems I strengthen. A successful nurse leader creates an environment where employees feel supported, empowered, and connected to a shared purpose. Success is reflected in stronger teams, emerging leaders, sustainable improvements, and consistently excellent patient care. As I continue my leadership journey, my goal is not simply to manage today's priorities, but to build the capacity needed for the future. In conclusion, contemporary nurse leadership requires balancing immediate operational demands with the long-term needs of patients, nurses, and healthcare organizations. Transformational leadership provides a strong foundation by emphasizing vision, trust, innovation, and the development of others. However, leadership theory becomes meaningful only when it is translated into daily practices through emotional intelligence, communication, delegation, shared governance, and evidence-based decision-making. My leadership journey has changed how I define success. I am moving away from measuring leadership by how much I can personally accomplish and towards creating an environment where others feel supported, empowered, and prepared to succeed. Ultimately, successful nurse leadership is about developing people, strengthening systems, and creating sustainable improvements in patient care. Thank you so much for this time. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.